Hi everyone, welcome to the Raisin tutorial for WUSC bilateral and Uniterra volunteers. Thank you for listening today. The purpose of this tutorial is just to go over how to create your online fundraising page. We use a platform called Raisin, and going over these steps will better prepare you to create your own profile, and it'll also better prepare you for the upcoming fundraising training. So all of you should have received an email by now with your fundraising toolkit. That should have your Raisin guide included. And I encourage all of you to take a look at that if you haven't already. It might be helpful to follow along with the guide as we go over these steps here today in this tutorial. So right now we're just going to start off. We're on the Uniterra website right now. If you are a WUSC bilateral volunteer, just disregard this portion of the tutorial. We'll get to how you get to your page in just a few minutes. So we're just on the regular Uniterra website right now, and I'd like to show you, if you scroll down to the bottom here and you click this volunteer space button, it's going to bring you to a space here which has a lot of resources that will be helpful to you throughout your mandate. We've got the volunteer blog, we've got some blog posts about storytelling and photography, and we're going to go over all of this stuff more in-depthly during your fundraising training. So for now, I'm just going to skip over that and get down here to the fundraising portion of the site. So right now, right here, we have the Uniterra fundraising kit for CC, and we have the Uniterra fundraising kit for WUSC. So if you're not sure if you're a CC volunteer, a CC Uniterra volunteer, or a WUSC Uniterra volunteer, we have listed here the countries. So if you are going to Ghana, Malawi, Mongolia, Peru, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, or Vietnam, you are a WUSC Uniterra volunteer, and you can follow this link right here to get to the registration page for your Raisin account. Or if you are going to Bolivia, Burkina Faso, Guatemala, Haiti, Mali, Nepal, or Senegal, you can click this link here. So it's just slightly different. As you can see, we've got WUSC.aka Raisin and we've got CC.aka Raisin. So we've had in the past volunteers accidentally create profiles on the wrong page. It's not a big deal, but just be aware that they are different, and it's important to know the difference between the two. So that's a place where you can find the link to create your Raisin page. There will also be a link in the email that you should have received with your fundraising toolkit as well. And for WUSC bilateral volunteers, that's where you are going to click to go to your fundraising page. It's going to bring you to this page right here. I've already signed in here, but if you are registering, I'm going to cross over to the Uniterra one. They're very, very similar. It's the exact same platform. It just has different logos on it, so it will look exactly the same. So let's say at the very basic level here, you want to register. You don't have an account yet. The first thing you're going to want to do is register. So you're going to want to differentiate which country you're going to. These are WUSC countries. These are CC countries. Let's say you're going to a WUSC country. You would click that. Register now to create your Uniterra fundraising page. So click this, continue. So you're going to fill in all this information here about yourself. What's important to note here? Here, your goal, it's listed here 1,500. Everyone's goal is 1,500. You can change this as you go along. Let's say you very, very quickly exceed your goal of 1,500. You can go into your settings and you can change this, but we just encourage everyone that when you're starting off to make it 1,500, so everyone has the same. Oh, this here is where you can switch the language. So that's also important to note. Okay, so once you've created this, you're going to click continue. You're going to make a username and a password. I encourage everyone to take note of your username and password. I myself have many usernames and passwords and I get them all mixed up, so just take note of it. Okay, so we're going to cross over here to my profile, which I have created for training purposes. I've created mine on the WUSC bilateral page here, which is exactly the same, like I mentioned. It just doesn't have the Uniterra logo, but the format, the platform, everything is the same. So this information that you're going to get from my profile here is going to cross over to Uniterra and WUSC. So don't worry about that. So this is what your main page is going to look like once you've logged in. It's going to say welcome and your name, and it's going to have here these tabs. So we have personal page, address book, email, get social, follow-ups, donation history, offline pledges, and help. So at the very basic level, you're going to want to go to your personal page. And your personal page is your main profile. So this is what your network is going to see first when they go to your page. So everyone is going to have this very general text here. We've created this text just so it's not blank. This one here is geared towards WUSC bilateral volunteers. If you are a Uniterra volunteer, it will be similar. It's just the information will be different. It will be more geared towards Uniterra. So you can absolutely keep elements of this text because some of it is important, but there are areas like you can see, for instance, here, the fundraising target. You're going to want to fill that in. And you're going to want to fill in where you're going, what country you're going to, what you'll be doing on your mandate. A lot of volunteers take the job description that they get from their recruiters and they put points of that in this text here. I think it's really, really important to personalize this because this is what your audiences are going to read. And this text here is very, very general. It doesn't really have anything to do with you personally and what you'll be doing. So feel free to get creative here. We had one volunteer who put some incentives in here. He had, something like if you donate $20 or more, I'll send you a personalized email updating you on my mandate. And if you donate $50 or more, I will have a Skype call with you, which I thought was really interesting. And he raised a lot of money, actually. So get creative here. You don't have to keep it just super general about your mandate. You can also talk about your fundraising. You can make it funny. You can get creative with it, definitely. You can also change this here. It says, welcome to Kendra Perry's page. That's me. You can edit this. It doesn't have to say your name. You can get creative with that as well, if that's something that interests you. So we're going to edit this text. Oops. So we're going to click Edit Profile and Personalize URL. Oh, whoops, that's not what we want. There we go. So this is where you'll be able to edit this page here. So if you want to edit this text, you can click Edit Text here, and it's going to bring you here. And if you want to, you're definitely going to want to add a photo. I like to encourage volunteers to add a photo that kind of encompasses their personality or their mandate. If you volunteered in the past, you can choose a picture from that experience or something of you traveling. Another area where you can really get creative and kind of grab people's attention. So to add a photo, you'll be clicking Edit Images. You can also add videos if that's something that interests you. And I believe you can add multiple photos. I think you can add up to 3. So this here is called your honor roll. And I don't have any donations, but if you were to have donations, it would be listed here. And it would say the amount, it would say the name of the person who donated. If they choose to display that information, once they click Donate Now, there will be an option for them if they would like to include their name and the amount. They don't have to. They can just include the amount. They can just include their name. They can leave it anonymous entirely, and you will know who it was and what they donated, but it will not display on the page. So that is an option. So I think that's it for this page here. It's pretty straightforward. You can leave this text at the bottom here if you wish. This is very general, just about WUSC. This also is relevant here. A tax receipt will be issued for every donation of $20 or more. You can leave that. You can definitely leave points of this, but I just encourage people to personalize it more. So we're going to go to the next point here, which is address book. And address book can be kind of a little bit of a source of stress for some volunteers, just because it seems a little bit complicated, but it's really, really, really straightforward. I think people get a little bit worried that once they connect it to their accounts, then it's just going to automatically email every single person they've ever connected with. And that is definitely not the case. So I like to tell people to follow this link here, the Quickly Add Contacts button. You can absolutely manually import contacts. That is going to take you, however, a very long time. You're going to have to individually type in every email address, which isn't very time effective if you're going to be adding, hundreds of people. You can absolutely do that. It is an option, but it is not as time effective as this here. So if you click this button, you'll be able to connect it with your email provider. So you just would click the link here for whatever email you have. And it would connect your contacts here. They would display here. So this here is your, this is where you are going to be writing your emails. So the emails are going to be either sponsor me emails, follow-up emails, thank you emails, or just blank emails. And the email tab here is where you create those. So the first one you're going to be sending would be the sponsor me email. I'm just going to click that. And so all the contacts that you would have added when you connected to your email provider, they would be listed here in contacts available. So that doesn't mean that they're selected contacts. It just means those are the ones that are available. So that will be everyone that is in your list, but you absolutely do not have to email all of them. If you want to email all of them, you could click select all, this button here. But if not, you can click this tab. Let's try this. You can click this tab here to move them over from this list to this list. And then if you accidentally move someone over, you change your mind, you don't want to contact them, you can just move them on back with this button. Okay? So it's really straightforward. It's a little bit time consuming. This is definitely the part that takes the longest. But once it's done, it's done. You don't have to do it again. They'll be saved in there for any future emails, and the donations will just come rolling in. So this again is very similar to the text on your main profile. You can absolutely change all of this. I encourage everyone to change all of this. The subject line here, the your information here about your mandate and what you're doing, where you're going, that kind of thing. Your fundraising goal, you're absolutely going to want to enter that. You're going to want to enter the link to your page here and your name, absolutely. And so this is the email that everyone is going to get initially to sponsor you. So you're going to want to get creative with it, definitely. And then if you want to take your time with this email and you're working on it for a bit and you don't feel that it's right, you can save the email message for later and then send it later on. You don't have to just send it right away. And if you'd like to preview it first, you can click preview and it will bring you here. So you can take a look and make sure that it all makes sense. And then you can send it when you feel that it's ready. Okay, and it's the same thing for every email. So that was the sponsor me email. This is the follow-up email. So again, you're going to want to select your contacts and you're going to want to edit this text. So a follow-up email would be something that you would send to someone who you know has received the sponsor me email, and for whatever reason they haven't responded. Maybe you've been told by them that they would donate, so you want to just kind of remind them. People get a lot of emails. Sometimes things slip through the cracks. So don't be shy to send a follow-up email. The worst that happens is that they just don't donate, and they just don't respond, and that's it. But there's no harm in following up. So this is also very important. This is your thank you letter. So same idea here with the selecting the contacts. And this is quite short here. You're going to want to edit this as well. I encourage everyone, when you're setting up your Raisin page initially, to just devote the time to fill all of these out, because then they're done. Do your main page, do your emails, add your contacts, and then just let the platform take care of the rest for you. You won't have to come back and do much else. This is a blank email here. Let's say you just want to write your own email that doesn't have any of the templates that we've added. That's perfectly fine. You would do that here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for email. You can click Get Social now. So you can connect your fundraising page to your Facebook account if that's something that interests you. You absolutely don't have to if it doesn't interest you, but it is an option. So you would connect your Facebook profile here by clicking Connect, and you can click the auto posts that you would like to show up to your fundraising page. So it'll say, new donation received, or 25% fundraising goal, whatever you like. Let's say a lot of your networks that you're emailing through Raisin are connected with you on Facebook as well, and you want to keep them in the loop, and you don't want to have to go through the hassle of emailing all of them to update them. You can just have it update to your profile, to your Facebook profile. So let's click follow-ups here. So follow-ups helps you track and monitor your campaign's email and donation activities, so you can target your communication for best fundraising results. So this is a very cool feature here. You can filter contacts by who's donated, who has not donated, who's never been emailed, never viewed the site, that kind of thing, which is really, really handy for knowing whether or not it's appropriate to send someone a thank you letter, a follow-up letter, the right kind of communication. You're not going to want to send someone a follow-up letter who's already donated to you. You're definitely not going to want to do that. And you're not going to want to send thank you letters to people who haven't donated or haven't been on your site. So this is a really great area to track that. So if you click donated, the list of people will pop up who, I haven't had anyone donate, but you would have a list of people that pop up who have donated, and you will know that they should receive a thank you letter. And then if you click not donated, they will pop up and you'll know that you should send them a follow-up. So this is really, really useful here for staying on top of your communication with your donors. So donation history here. This information is on your main profile as well, but here's a place where you can update your goal. If let's say you exceed 1,500 and you want to make it 3,000 or 5,000 or something like that, you can update it here. All of your donations will be listed here below. Your total amount raised and your total number of donations as well. So offline pledges is also quite important. So let's say you have someone in your life who, for whatever reason, doesn't want to donate online. They would prefer to give you cash. They would prefer to write you a check, something like that. But they want that money to be included in your total. And maybe they want to appear on your page as well, on that honor roll list that I talked about earlier. So that is definitely possible. You just need to fill out this form here. And you need to fill out the amount and payment types: cash, personal check, business check. And here is the honor roll options that I was just mentioning. Show my name and amount, show my name only, show my name as anonymous, amount will show, or custom. So just important to note as well, every donor will receive an e-tax receipt if applicable. So if they donate $20 or more, Raisin automatically issues tax receipts from WUSC or CC to the donor. So you don't have to worry about that. And even with offline pledges, they will receive an e-tax receipt if applicable. So that is important to note as well. Then lastly, we have a help section here, which is also quite helpful. It's pretty in-depth. There's a lot of information on here. If for whatever reason you are not getting the information that you need from here, and you really need some one-on-one help, you can absolutely contact someone from the fundraising team at WUSC, like myself, or the fundraising team at CC, and we have access to the back end of Raisin. So we can absolutely help you out. We can Skype, we can go on your profile. That's no problem whatsoever. Okay, so I think that's about it here for your page, guys. I don't want to overwhelm you with information, but once you fill out, I encourage everyone to just go through these tabs and fill them all out, and then you're done. It seems like a daunting task because it does take probably an hour max to get through all of this, but once it's done, and the donations will just come rolling in. I think this is a fantastic platform. I think it's really easy to use. It's very user-friendly. Yeah, so if ever you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to anyone on the fundraising team. And we'll talk more about this. We'll have a chance to connect during your fundraising training. Okay, thanks for listening.